Good evening and welcome. Thank you for joining us for our seminar on preparing a home for sale, Renovations That Return. And I'm really excited to be able to do this in partnership with the folks at Freemodel, whom I'll be introducing later on this evening. We'll be starting with a real estate market update and then low-cost ways to maximize property appeal, and then launch straight into really the heart of the session this evening, which is Renovations That Return, which will be covered by our partners at Freemodel, and then some questions and announcements. So for the real estate market update, I think this picture kind of captures what a lot of people may be feeling nowadays, especially with inflation. Talk about inflation, rising interest rates, recession, the housing market possibly going down, the stock market taking a hit. I think a lot of people are feeling a little bit of stress and pressure lately, and then the housing market is no exception. I think it's important, though, in the midst of all of that, to really keep calm and to continue to look at the facts, look at the statistics, and be able to have a good picture of what's going on actually in the industry. And especially with real estate, it is very local. A lot of what the rest of the country is experiencing, we don't always follow that here in the Bay Area. So it's important to just keep looking at the numbers. Sometimes we do follow the trends, sometimes we don't. So the first statistic I'm going to be looking at this evening, I do this often actually in our seminars, is the median sale price for single family homes in San Mateo County. So when we're talking about median sale price, we're basically taking, if you take this median sale price, that means that the number of homes that sold below that price is the same as the number of homes that have sold above that price. So just looking at this year, you can see that we actually have been, this mark here is $2 million, and we actually hit an all-time high in April of this year at 2.25 million, which is quite significant. Since then, we have gone down a little bit, and then starting July and August, there was somewhat of a significant decrease. But you see, even from September up to October, we actually did see a bit of an increase, kind of coming back up to where we're at about a little over 1.8 million in terms of median sale price. So yes, compared to the peak of this year, we did experience some amount of a cooling and reduction. But one thing to keep in mind, and I'd like to show that on the next slide, is to look at in terms of a more historical perspective. We can see here, this is the median sale price going back to 2005. We were solidly during that time, that was actually a peak, but even during that time, it was under 1 million. And then when we hit 2008 and 2009, the Great Recession and a lot of things dropping, we did actually get to more like 500,000 or 600,000 and hovering thereabouts 500,000 to 700,000 for several years. And since then, since about 2013, we were able to actually regain what was lost during those preceding years and have just steadily, or not so steadily, increased along the way, all the way up to where 1.5 million before the pandemic, and then since then have been. There was just a significant increase after the pandemic, and last year, 2021 and the beginning of 2022, to where we were hitting the $2 million mark several times over the course of these last 2 years. So even though there has been a reduction here to where when we go out to October numbers, we're at around 1.84 million. Just to know that that is still higher, even with the reduction, that is still higher than the pre-pandemic levels. So yes, it is lower than what we have experienced in the last 2 years, but really, if you think about it, just historically speaking, we're still very much solidly in a very strong market with the prices quite high. Just thinking about median sale price is at 1.8 million, over $1.8 million. That's still quite significant, and partly a reason why we have still a big affordability crisis in California. So months of inventory is another metric I like to look at, and months of inventory has to do with what if you were to take the number of homes that are currently on the market and then sell, if you were to sell them at the current rate of selling, how long would it take before you were to run out? The way that and so this metric is in months of inventory. How many months would it take to run out? 6 months is traditionally considered a balanced market. If you have more inventory, if you have more than 6 months, then that's traditionally considered a buyer's market because there's a lot of inventory. Buyers have much to choose from. They're kind of in the driver's seat. If you go lower than 6 months, then now we're talking about a seller's market. And as you can see here, starting about 2012, 2013, since then, we've been pretty much hovering around the 2-month mark. Since the pandemic, you see the COVID lockdown in March of 2020. Since then, the inventory levels actually went down even lower, where we were talking about 1 month, give or take 1 month of inventory remaining, severely low. And so that has picked up over the year. And as interest rates have increased, and we'll talk about that more in a bit, but the demand may have gone down a little, but the inventory levels are still quite low to where we're hovering around the 2-month mark. For October, it was at 2.3 months, which is a little bit higher than it has been in the past year, but still not something that we would call a buyer's market, not where this metric is concerned. We're still seeing quite a constrained inventory, and that's something that has been one of the major factors in terms of keeping our prices fairly high, even in the midst of all the different challenges in the economy. Median days to sell is another indicator that we like to look at. What this is talking about is how long it takes from when you put a home on the market until you have an accepted offer. So looking at that, that tells you, looking at that, you can see from 2005 to about 2012, we were more in the, hovering around the 30-day range, give or take. It did go up to even almost over 2 months during 2008. And so that's what was normal. But since 2020, 2012, 2013, the numbers have been more around between the 10 to 20 day mark. There were some peaks here and there, and then you can see where the COVID lockdown is. It went to 0. And the reason for that is that our multiple listing service made a decision to actually stop the timer temporarily, because when we started the lockdown, we were not able to show homes. For a month or two, we were not able to show homes. And so it didn't seem right to really be counting the days on market because nothing was able to happen. So that's why that decision was made at the time. And then after things started easing up again, we went back to the MLS multiple listing service, went back to counting the days. If you look at this, again, it's hovering around 10. For October, we were at 13 days on market. So it would take 13 days. You would put a house on the market, and it could take an average or median of 13 days to be able to actually sell. So less than 2 weeks. If you imagine that, that's still quite fast. Of course, just one thing to keep in mind is that this does not account for some of the homes that just went on the market, stayed on for a long time, and didn't sell at all and were pulled off. So there are some homes like that, but for the most part, the homes that did sell sold within a matter of 2 weeks. Besides inventory, though, I think the biggest, one of the biggest factors, and I'm sure all of you are aware of, is interest rates. The Federal Reserve did increase the interest rates today another 675 basis points. That's not directly related, but it does impact the mortgage interest rates. And so this is a look at the primary mortgage market as of October 27th. The 30-year fixed rate mortgages were running a little over 7%. For loans that are higher than conforming rate limits, which is about the mid 600s, so anything a little above 650,000, there are some bigger loans where you can get rates that are lower than this. So we're looking at, I've had clients who are looking more at like 5.5% to 6% for the bigger loans, or there are some places where people have been able to get in the mid to high 6s. And so 7%, that's significantly higher than what we were seeing at the beginning of the year, where it was more like 3.5% to 4%. And many people were actually getting loans lower than 3%. So if you think about that, that does significantly impact what people are able to afford, because having that jump in interest rates will make your payment significantly higher. Just as a rule of thumb, if you have a 1% interest rate with a mortgage somewhere in the $500 to $1 million range, that would increase your interest payment by 10 to 12%. So if you can think about that, then now if we have a 3% interest rate, we're talking, close to 30%, somewhere around 30% as a higher monthly payment. So that's a huge factor for people. I think the relief of having the prices, home prices coming down a little bit is helping to offset that, but not in the same rate, not at the same rate. So one of the things that we've been talking a lot about with our buyers, and you may have heard, is this phrase, date the rate, marry the house. It's really important to keep in mind for the home buyers that if you're going to be buying, the house is more long-term, whereas the rate might be at around 7%, give or take, but it's not going to be forever. So it's important to really focus on the house, get into a loan product that might make sense, even though a little bit high. And then most economists that we're hearing from are expecting that we will be going into some kind of recession within the coming year. And when that happens, the Federal Reserve will reduce their rates, and that will probably bring down the loan rates as well. So everyone is expecting that to happen, so that at that time, someone could refinance and be able to get into a better loan. I like to speak often of one of our Perisson agents actually actually bought his home in 1981 at 18.875%. Granted, the housing prices were much lower back then, but he is still in that home, but he is not in that loan any further. So he has long since refinanced to a more reasonable rate. But at that time, that was what he needed to do. So we're nowhere near 18%. And that's one of the things that I did want to show in this. You can see he bought right here at the peak. So we're nowhere near the highs of the interest rates. It is higher than what we're used to. But if you just really, for buyers, it's important to really keep their to keep calm, to be able to really focus on where it is that they want to go to and what it is they want to buy, rather than getting overwhelmed by the whole interest rate or being thrown off by the interest rates. Having all of this in mind, I would say it's really important more than ever for sellers to have a realistic expectations, and to make sure that the house is something that the buyer will, when they first see it, is something that they will love and really want to get into and be able to handle the rate because they love the home. And so it's really more important than ever to be able to make sure that your home is the one that presents the best, that shows well for buyers when they come in. And that's the heart of why we're doing this seminar this evening, to be able to talk about, what are the renovations that can really bring you the most return for your money, and also be able to and the way to do that is really to make it so that the buyers want to come and see your home, and they love the house, and they're willing to do what it takes to get there. So in the field, what are we seeing? I think one of the things is, I would say, is that, yes, things have calmed a little bit down. At the same time, it really is different depending on your exact location and the condition of the home. I am actually hearing, even from my network, that one of my colleagues had a listing that came on last week in San Leandro. And she was feeling a little bit apprehensive because of the market. And when I talked to her this week, she said that they had over 70 groups each day at each of the open houses on Saturday and Sunday. So, and she was expecting she was going to be setting an offer date today. So that's really exciting that within 1 week, the demand is still there. Buyers are still out there looking. I have my own listing as well that came on market last week, and over the weekend this was in San Francisco, and over the weekend I had over 40 groups combined, so over 20 groups each day. Several of the groups were people who are serious buyers and in the market and looking. And I do have buyers as well who are, just starting their home search, even with the 7% interest rates, or 6 and 7% interest rates. The other thing to keep in mind as well is that even though the Federal Reserve raised their rates today, much of the mortgage market has already been anticipating it. So most of the increases have been kind of fixed into the market or figured into the market already. So we're not expecting the mortgage rates to really change that much more in the coming months in terms of increases. So again, in the field, seeing still buyers out there. And again, more than ever, it's really important to make sure that your house shows well. If you're selling, to show your house in such a way that buyers will want to come and that they'll want to put an offer on it. So just briefly, I'm going to go into low-cost ways to maximize property's appeal. One, declutter, remove as much as possible, whether that be furniture, especially bulky furniture, anything that can be kind of any personal items that you have. Just be able to declutter, remove, and clear it out. Even if you can't do a lot of things, it goes a long way just to you have a clean, clear home. One of the suggestions that I have if somebody's living there while selling is to have some bins where you put all your toiletries for the bathroom. And then that way, when you're showing a house, when somebody's coming to see the home, you can just easily take the bin out and put it under the cabinet, and then be able to use it when you need it. Same with kitchen as well. So any of the smaller kitchen appliances, all the kitchen utensils and things that you need, maybe put them in a box, and that way you can use them when you're there, but when the house is being shown, you can kind of quickly just move it into the cabinet underneath. Second, depersonalize, getting rid of family photos, religious items, any unique decor. That's really important to do. Buyers don't want to come in and feel like they're walking into someone else's home. They want to be able to come in and see the potential for it to become their own home. So having a family photos, no matter how wonderful looking, lovely your family is, that is actually could work against you, because somebody will feel like they're kind of intruding on somebody else's space. So important to depersonalize, remove the family photos, treasure them, put them somewhere safe. A really easy one is removing window screens and window coverings. For the screens, if they're in good condition, you can move them into the garage. For the window coverings, you want to do it depending on, of course, keep in mind privacy and security concerns for the front of the house. But besides that, and if you have custom coverings, sometimes you might want to keep it. For the most part, we like to remove them because that will make it just feel more open and clean, and you get a lot more natural light coming in. And natural light is super, super important when it comes to most buyers out there are looking for that natural light. Also, replacing door hardware and outlet and light covers. Those are kind of easy, quick fixes, but they can really go a long way to freshening up a space. And Freemodel, the presentation later, will be talking in more detail about that. But that's just a small thing. Doesn't cost a lot, but it can really go a long way to making giving a fresh look to a home. And then finally, pay special attention to front landscaping. The first impression, you only have one chance to make a first impression. And so, when I'm with a buyer and we first pull up to a house and get out of the car and look at the home, that first impression is going to set the tone for the rest of the visit through the home. So as much as possible, if you can, it doesn't mean that you have to completely redo the landscaping. Just make sure that it's at least clean. And then there are different ways that you can maybe dress it up or make it look clean and inviting. I did want to, before we go into free model section, go into staging. So the not so low cost, but worth it benefits of staging. For staging, 47% of, so this is from a survey from NAR, that they did a profile of home staging in 2021. Not much has changed since then in terms of the sentiment about this. 47% of buyer's agents cited that home staging had an effect on most buyers' view of the home. 82% of buyer's agents said staging made it easier for a buyer to visualize the property as a future home. Something that I didn't include in here, but in general, if you see a home, sometimes people think, well, if I have an empty room, that'll feel bigger. And it's strangely different. It's actually the opposite of that. When you have a well-furnished room, it can look bigger than in an empty room. So there's that as well. Going back to the survey, 31% of sellers agents reported that staging a home greatly decreased the amount of time the home was on the market. And that's important, right? Because you want a home to be able to sell more quickly. You don't want to be waiting. And it also creates a sense of urgency. Buyers are thinking people, of course, but at the same time, a lot of times what will happen is it's an emotional process. You come in and you want this to, if it's for your principal residence, you want to be able to walk into a space and go, wow, this feels like home. And it might not be exactly their home or what their furniture is going to be, what their art's going to be later, but you want it to feel inviting and cozy and something that they can imagine themselves living in. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the heart of our seminar this evening, Renovations That Return, Preparing Your Home for Future Sale. And I'm going to invite, we have with us Lauren Sharp. Just a quick introduction to Lauren. Lauren Sharp leads the in-house design team at Freemodel, which is a comprehensive pre-sales home renovation service that helps homeowners sell for more. She is a residential interior designer and member of the National Kitchen and Bath Association. And Lauren has past experience as an early employee of a tech-enabled design and construction company, and as a residential interior design business owner. She resides in Oakland, California, and has provided design services to clients from coast to coast. And I'm really excited to have her here with us today.
Thank you so much, Jean. That was such an informative presentation. I really, really enjoyed it. So thank you. Thank you so much. And so I am joined by Ann Townsiger, our head of marketing. Thank you so much for joining me, Anne, and I'm really excited to share this presentation with all of you about preparing your home for a future sale. And so as we take a look at what I have presented here, we are going to be referring to this 2022 Remodeling Impact Report that was put together by the National Association of Realtors and also the North American Association of the Remodeling Industry. So this is a joint effort by them. And this report looked at return on investment for various different renovations and home improvement refreshes. And it also looked at the joy score that the homeowners experienced after they made these renovations. And the experience of joy that those homeowners had after they completed their renovations tracked alongside the return on investment. And really that score from 0 to 10, 10 being the highest experience of joy, that was really the most compelling numbers. So we're going to be sharing those numbers as we talk about various different renovations to prepare your house for sale. So renovations to consider would be kitchens, bathrooms, paint, flooring, lighting, and outdoor upgrades. Certainly, this is not an exhaustive list, but this list really highlights things that are going to make the biggest impact. So, this day and age, we, most of the time, if somebody's interested in buying a home, they're going to see that home online in photos first and foremost. And so these upgrades really help your home to shine and really stand out against the competition. And so these are what we recommend as top upgrades. Of course, every home is different, and so you want to make that choice specific to your own home, but here's a starting place. So let's talk about kitchens first. So with kitchens, we see a joy score of 9.8 for both small refreshes to a kitchen as well as a full renovation for a kitchen. So really, it's pretty fascinating, that same joy score for each. So common kitchen upgrades include countertops, changing out a backsplash, cabinets, repainting, refacing, or replacing, hardware such as changing out cabinet knobs and drawer pulls, replacing the appliances, replacing flooring, and replacing lighting. So let's take a look at some before and after kitchens that Freemodel has been involved in. We have project directors, local project directors who are interior designers and construction project managers, and they help homeowners and agents transform spaces before selling, and we even work with people who don't have an intention of sell but just want to work with us anyhow. So here we have this before kitchen on the left and our after on the right. And in this space, we were able to make a really big impact with refacing the cabinetry. So there's new cabinet doors and drawer fronts. We have new hardware. We have new appliances, new backsplash, and new countertop, new flooring. I could go on. Really, really big impact here. And we'll talk about this one next. So with this kitchen, we really went to town here. We took down the wall that was separating the kitchen from the living area, all new cabinets, new layout, and whole new refreshed space here. So with this project, this happened to be folks who had just moved into this house and they wanted to make this kitchen their own. And here we have another kitchen upgrade where we again removed a wall between this kitchen and the living room. And you can see there was a really great return on investment for this home. And again, this isn't the only space that was renovated in this home. So this overall return on investment isn't specific just to this kitchen upgrade, but it's certainly a really big part of it, right? So we have all new cabinets, new appliances, replaced lighting, the works. All right, so let's talk about some aspirational kitchen renovations that you can make. So a statement floor can be a really great way to bring in a fun design element into a kitchen. And neutral glazed tile, this glaze is just gorgeous on this tile. Neutral, very appealing to lots of people. And you could even go really fun and bold with a bold color choice. Don't be afraid to incorporate color. And if you want some help with incorporating color, definitely reach out to a designer. Always great to have a designer in your back pocket. Natural elements just really makes this kitchen a warm and inviting space. And a cream or white kitchen is always a classic choice. We're definitely seeing whites trending more towards a cream these days. Definitely, again, reach out to a designer if you want some help choosing the right white. Here's a fresh take on 50s design, right? Mid-century modern, always a popular choice. And here's a fresh take on that. Let's talk about bathrooms now. So bathrooms are another area in the home that have a really high joy score for after completing either a refresh or a full renovation for a bathroom. So common upgrades for bathrooms include regrouting or retiling, reglazing showers and tubs, vanity cabinet paint, reface, or replace, replacing hardware such as the cabinet knobs and drawer pulls, replacing the flooring, and replacing lighting such as the vanity lights and overhead lighting. And I love this before and after photo. We really actually didn't do that much to this bathroom, but it looks so different. We replaced the mirror, we replaced the sconces, new countertop, sink, and faucet. And then with the vanity cabinet, we just repainted it, new hardware. The floor is the same, and the space was painted, and it just looks gorgeous. And here we have a bathroom where we did a bigger renovation here. There was a partition wall here separating the shower from the sink area. We took that down. We replaced the vanity, new tile floor, new tile in the shower, new shower glass door, new tub. I could go on and on. But this space really feels really new and fresh compared to the before. This bathroom really had a big update here. In this space, we actually reconfigured the room and changed the layout and moved the vanity and the toilet to the opposite side of the room, which enabled this space to have a double vanity. So, and in this case, this was for this is a post-sale renovation, right? A family bought this home, wanted to make this update right after purchasing, and they have so much more functionality in this bathroom now that they have a double vanity. So let's talk about some bathroom design inspiration for some ideas for bathroom updates that have a return. So a statement shower screen is a great way to bring in a fun design element and also have function. We're seeing a trend toward fluting. It's always a classic choice, and here it's done really well in this classic gorgeous vanity with this fluting detail in the cabinet. And we're seeing a real resurgence in green. Green is such a calming, soothing, bring the outside in color, great place for a bathroom. And if green tile may be too much of a commitment for you, a beautifully painted green vanity can also be a great choice. It's nice, very muted green. And pattern can be really fun in a bathroom. Bathrooms are small, contained spaces, right? And so you can really go for it with pattern in a bathroom and have a lot of fun here. So we have a few different patterns coming together in this bathroom, just creating a really special space. And, painting out a vanity in a color that you really love, such as a blue like this, really gives this space some extra personality, right? All right, so let's talk about paint upgrades. So paint upgrades had the highest joy score. And what's really great about that is it's not that disruptive to paint, and it's not that expensive. So painting is a great choice for doing an upgrade that will have a return. So common paint upgrades include painting the entire interior to maximize for a very clean and cohesive feel throughout, or selectively painting interior rooms as needed. So again, your home is going to dictate what's the right choice there. Repainting the exterior, updating a dated feature with paint can be a great thing to do. And front door painted in a fun color. That can create a really inviting experience when a potential buyer is approaching the front door. So here we have a great example of painting out a dated feature, right? We painted this fireplace and really just created a very modern and really timeless look here. And I just love this one. And here we've gone neutral. The space feels a lot more open and bright and ready for the next homeowner. And here we've really changed the space, just with paint. Again, painting out the rust color walls, and just went a long way. This is a great example of a space where we just did a minor refresh. We just painted here and new carpet and quite a nice transformation here. This is a really great example of big impact and big change with paint. So with the before photo, we had a mirrored wall on the left. We have the original dark wood stained kitchen cabinets. And then we have a very dark painted wall on the right. And we went white paint everywhere. And boy, is this a different space in the after. And in this kitchen, it really looks quite different, but we really didn't do that much. So we repainted the kitchen cabinets. They were in really great shape, solid wood, but they were a little bit dated as far as the finish went. So they were a great candidate for painting. And we did replace the backsplash tile. And we painted this in Benjamin Moore's color of the year 2022 October Mist. I am a big fan. Here's another view of that same kitchen. I just love this. So let's take a look at some paint color selections that can have a really great return. So we're definitely seeing warmer grays in the design space. Gray is definitely still a great option. Benjamin Moore's classic gray is a wonderful, very light, not too cool gray paint option, just really shines here with the white trim. And white is always a great choice. There's so many whites out there. On the left, we have Valspar's Swiss Coffee, a really good neutral undertone to this white color. Benjamin Moore's White Dove in the middle, a very creamy white, and Sherwin-Williams Pure White on the far right, which is not pure white. It is a very bright white, but not pure. That's just the name. So 3 really good white paint choices. And here's an example of a color palette with a color, this gorgeous sagey green, this evergreen fog, and white, and a lot of warm tones. We're seeing a trend towards warmer tones in design, and this is a great example of how to do that. And also in color, incorporate color, and it's still rather neutral. Okay, flooring upgrades. Let's talk about flooring upgrades. Again, super high joy score at 10. So this is our other joy score. That's the very highest. People really, really appreciate a refresh or update to their flooring. Common flooring upgrades include refinishing existing hardwood floors, installing new luxury vinyl plank, also referred to as LVP flooring, installing tile flooring in select areas, and replacing carpet. Now, just going back to installing tile floor in select areas, I say that because here in the San Francisco Bay Area in California, we don't typically do whole homes with tile like in some other areas where it's very warm. So select areas like kitchens, bathrooms, entryways are great candidates for tile in our area. All right, so common flooring upgrades. We've already done that. Okay, so let's take a look at the before that we have here on the right. Carpet, builder grade carpet, and on the left, we've installed some luxury vinyl floor. It has this gorgeous wood look, very, very durable, great transformation here. And in this before and after, we have replaced the existing parquet wood floor with a beautiful new plank style wood floor. And let's take a look at some really great options for replacing flooring. So if you have existing hardwood floor, it is a great idea to keep that installed and go ahead and get it refinished, sand it, stain it, and have it sealed, and that floor will be gorgeous for many years to come. So whenever you have an existing hardwood floor, this is what we recommend. And then other types of floor coverings for replacement that are recommended are, again, LVP flooring. It has a wood look and great installation and maintenance ease. And then neutral porcelain floor tile. It's a classic and great in kitchens and bathrooms and very, very, very durable. And replacing carpet with low pile and textural options. Great choice for bedrooms, especially. Let's take a look at some flooring combinations. Love this wood floor and this gorgeous natural rug. Herringbone can be a really fun choice, and it's a classic. Okay, so let's talk about lighting upgrades. So lighting has been featured in every single one of our after images and all of our design inspiration images that we've been looking at. Lighting is essential to being able to see that beautiful design. So we're just assuming that it's going to happen every single time. So there is no joy score associated. All the joy scores that we previously looked at, they all are factoring in lighting upgrades to those upgrades. So common lighting upgrades include replacing dated chandeliers, adding recessed lighting where appropriate, and replacing switches and outlet covers, just like Jean mentioned earlier. So here's a before and after, and it's always great to replace a chandelier or a pendant with something that's more up to date. And in this kitchen, we took what was just a single lone light fixture and have gone with a layered approach where we have recessed lighting, chandelier over the eating area, and pendant lights beautifully illuminating the peninsula. And let's take a look at some lighting inspiration images that have a great return. Statement pendants, great for kitchens. Sconces, wherever you can add a sconce, add more light. Light is your friend, and they add just a really personal, design touch. Chandeliers, great in bedrooms, living rooms, dining rooms, entryways, always a yes. And layered lighting is a really great way to bring beautiful lighting applications in where you're providing lots of great illumination throughout the space using chandeliers, sconces, and table lamps throughout the space. And recessed lighting is what is going to give you that overall illumination throughout a space where you're washing the walls with light and creating, that great, very well lit environment. If the space can accommodate installing recessed lighting, if it isn't already there, it's always a great choice. It's a very, very good investment in your space. So let's talk about outdoor upgrades. So outdoor upgrades, well, the Joy scores, they didn't look at outdoor renovations, but we know, or outdoor upgrades, but we know that outdoor spaces are really just so important for the enjoyment of a space and is something that buyers really look for. And common outdoor upgrades include landscaping, repairing hardscape and decking, and highlighting outdoor living potential. So this is a great example with this after space. Not much was done here. So the area was cleaned up, the lattice was changed, there was some exterior painting, and this was staged beautifully to show the potential to enjoy this outdoor space. And here, this really was maintenance. There was, outdoor rugs and furniture covering up this deck, and it just wasn't really known that it needed some maintenance and some repairs. And so those repairs to the deck boards were made. It was restained. There were some updates to the railing, and this space really looks so much more inviting now. And here in this space, we went ahead and put in some artificial turf. This has really become a great place to play and entertain, and really highlights all of the plantings to the side and makes them just look that much better. And also says low maintenance. Everybody loves that. So let's take a look at some outdoor upgrades that have great return. I love this sculpture that they have in this garden. I would just be sitting out here with my morning cup of coffee, enjoying this. And that concludes our presentation of upgrades that return. And Anne, I would love to bring you back in, and let's talk about Freemodel. Let's talk about who we are and what we do at Freemodel.
Thanks, Lauren. That was awesome. And it's always so fun to hear you talk about design stuff, because I am not a designer, but I am an appreciator of it. So thank you so much. So as Lauren said, and as Jean said, Freemodel is a pre-sales home renovation service. So we work with agents like Jean when she has a listing and the home needs a little bit of a refresh. She calls us, and we send a project director to help scope the project and then manage the project. So all of those before and afters that Lauren just walked through were projects that Freemodel has done basically throughout California. We are a licensed general contractor right now just in the state of California. So we have a huge number of project directors here in the Bay Area, Greater Bay Area, and then basically from Santa Barbara down to San Diego, we have project directors as well. So we like to say that, you know, we are a partner to our agents, and we help take stuff off their plate so they can do the selling and the analysis and all of that, the marketing of the home, and we do the updates. Yeah, and so basically, I mean, the end of the really the key thing here is that we are extremely happy to be a win-win kind of for everyone. Agents like us because they don't have to go to Lowe's and choose tile for a kitchen backsplash. Our project managers can do that, and that helps agents be more productive. And then homeowners are happy because there are agents who give homeowners a list of things to do before their homes sell. And we know that you as sellers have a lot of other things on your plate. So we are happily, a service provider for you guys. And we're based in Burlingame, actually.
I have to say, I actually have been, Freemodel has been great. They're also help with the financing so that you don't have to pay until you sell, until you close. So for homeowners who are going, well, I want to sell, I don't really have that money out of pocket. That's also a service that they provide. I do have, actually, I'm working with Freemodel on one of my listings in San Francisco, and our designer there has been fantastic. I mean, she's just taken over everything in terms of helping to design, checking on the progress, coordinating the contractors, and that's made my job much easier so I can focus on the real estate, which is my job, rather than trying to decide what's the best color for a house, and I do have some amount of eye for it now because I've been doing it so long, but it really makes it so much easier when you have somebody who that's their specialty. They know what they're doing, and she'll give the ideas, and ultimately the decisions are made by the homeowner. But at the same time, both the homeowner and I can focus on other things, and getting the house sold rather than worrying about the project and is the contractor doing, are they painting correctly and are they doing their job? So it's been a great experience so far, and I really highly recommend highly recommend working with Freemodel. If anybody who's watching this video or at the seminar is thinking about buying or selling, and needs some services, just contact one of the Perisson agents, and we have a partnership kind of with the Freemodel. I mean, any agent can contact Freemodel, obviously, but we would love to be able to, we love working with them. I would say that, and highly, highly recommend. So thank you very much for all of the tips that you gave today. We will have this recorded because for me, I was like, every slide I wanted to sit and look at it for a while because it was like, wow, that's such a big difference. And it really, if you imagine home buyers looking everything on the internet, because they do that first,
Mhm.
And if you compare those two pictures, which one are they going to go see if they have limited time? It's going to be the after slides, right? And so I think that was really an awesome thing. I think one of the things that I would ask is, you mentioned, Lauren, the front door, painting it a fun color. Is there a
Yes.
certain color that you would like? What kind of colors when you say fun? Like
Well,
not
we want to,
purple, probably.
yeah, purple could be right.
Oh,
It just
okay.
depends. It just
Okay.
depends. So we want to think about the color scheme of the home. Are we
Okay.
painting the home? Are we going to choose a brand new color scheme for the home and also a new color for the paint door? Or is the home going to stay the same color? Is the siding and the trim going to stay the same color? Well, then we definitely want the color of the front door to coordinate with the existing colors. So we want it to look great with the existing colors. And sometimes it will be more of a neutral color that is going to be the right choice, but the fresh paint is what's going to matter even more. Black can be a great choice for a front door, really just classic, sharp, good look. Um, uh, a gorgeous burgundy or a great blue, a light blue, a light teal can be great. Um, a yellow door, an orange door. It just depends on what the paint scheme is.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know some people who are into red doors who really like red. So
Mhm. Mhm.
that's a big one.
Oops, I should
And
say it.
then yeah, and then in terms of outdoor spaces, I think as Lauren mentioned, that's important. I think especially with the pandemic, that became huge during the pandemic, after the pandemic, or we're endemic now, I guess, but that was huge that people were looking for
Yes.
outdoor spaces.
And I'm sorry at the end, my slides just weren't advancing. I guess my computer's gotten a little tired at the end of the day. I actually have a few inspiration images that showed really gorgeous outdoor spaces. So maybe after the presentation, maybe for the recording, you'll be able to add those in as well. Because
Oh, okay, sure.
outdoor
I'd love to
spaces
do that.
are, people just want to be spending out time outside at their own homes and enjoying their own spaces and yet be outside in nature at the same time.
Mhm. Definitely. And the other aspect of that is the whole low maintenance, low water, because water bills are going through the roof. We are in a drought, have been.
Yeah.
So having that water efficient landscaping is also a big deal for people. So buyers are looking at that, what are my energy costs? What are my water costs going to be? It's
Yeah.
a big thing.
Am I going to have to find somebody who can install drip irrigation? I don't know how to do that. If
Mhm.
it's already done, it's very appealing to buyers.
Yep. Yep. So thank you very much for joining us. And again, thank you so much to Lauren and Anne for being with us this evening. Have a good evening, everyone.